everyone, and thank you so much for coming back and joining me. So we are again at Friday, so we are again at Retro Friday today. So excited. Now, since we are in the month of October, and I am so happy October, I have been waiting for you, thanks for arriving. I am going to be talking about, I know guys, isn't this awesome? And look at the back. I am going to be talking about Ashy Slashy tonight. AKA, you know, the awesome Ash, the awesome Bruce Campbell, the legend Bruce Campbell. I'm going to be talking about two movies in tonight's video, so it's a bit of a twist because normally I know I only talk about one usually, but I'm going to be talking about both The Evil Dead and also Evil Dead 2. And Evil Dead 2 was, I suppose, somewhat of like a remake or like a reimagination, or however which way you would like to look at it. And you know, the actor he plays Ash, you know, Bruce Campbell, you know, he pretty much said that the reason why they decided to do Evil Dead 2 was because, you know, they had a better budget and they had more money and I suppose as well more experience to actually make the movie. So I do have my notes with me so that I don't forget anything that I want to say about these two awesome movies. Now, straight off the bat, just in case anybody is interested in what one I prefer over the other, I would definitely prefer Evil Dead 2. To be honest, of course, you know, the visuals are just way better. There's more to it. You know, it's just way better built. I personally think so anyway. Also better characters. That is my opinion. I know there's quite a lot of people that actually prefer The Evil Dead over Evil Dead 2, which is of course is absolutely fine. It is still a very, very fantastic movie and has, you know, really good practical effects. I mean, for when it was and when they done it, you know, at the end of the day, and they just kept constantly running out of money. You know, Bruce Campbell even said that for the first one. And believe it or not, you know, in case anybody didn't know this, I know a lot of people will that are, you know, huge fans of Evil Dead. I am personally myself, also love the series, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm going to watch that again at Halloween. I cannot wait. So The Evil Dead is actually still banned in some countries. All I'm going to say, I'm not going to talk about the scene, but all I'm going to say is the demonic tree scene. And we're just going to leave it at that, guys. You will get the gist as to why it's, you know, banned in some countries. And Sam Raimi, who of course is the creator of Evil Dead and is also the director of these movies, he actually has even said that he, you know, looking back now, he actually regrets adding that demonic sea tree. What am I talking about? Sea tree? Where did that come from, Julie? What are you talking about? The demonic tree scene. He regrets kind of putting that in because, you know, that's pretty much is, you know, the reason why it was banned pretty much. But Sam Raimi is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And in case anybody didn't know, which I'm sure you do, but he actually directed the Spider-Man trilogy movies. Spider-Man movies. But also he directed a movie called Drag Me to Hell. And if you haven't seen it and you know you like Evil Dead and you like watching Halloweeny stuff and cult movies and like horror movies, because these are cult movies obviously, as I'm sure you know anyways, but he did that movie, Drag Me to Hell, and it is really freaky. There's some really freaky ass scenes in that movie, and I actually really enjoy it, and I watch it. I have it on DVD, and I watch it every year at Halloween. So if you like Evil Dead, I would definitely recommend that you watch Sam Raimi's movie, Drag Me to Hell. And I mean, he definitely is a huge lover for, you know, his slapstick, and that really did show with these movies that he just has such, you know, a love for slapstick movies. He really, really does. And you can just say, like, you really can see that within these cult movies. And his brother, interestingly, played Henrietta, you know, in Evil Dead 2, where there's this crazy, you know, fat, mad-ass looking zombie lady that's in the cellar or the basement or whatever you want to call it in Evil Dead 2. Well, that's actually his brother in among all that suit. And apparently, like, it was like insanely hot when they did that second movie. So God bless him. He must have been literally like burning up. They said it was like one of the warmest summers. And of course, that character of that zombie lady, she was actually in the series Ash vs. Evil Dead, And if you haven't seen the series and you love Evil Dead, the films, honestly, you definitely need to write that down ASAP for your recommendation list, because it is a must for Evil Dead fans. Honestly, I absolutely love it. I have watched it twice now, and I absolutely love the series Ash vs Evil Dead. And he is just absolutely hilarious in it, Bruce Campbell. What I love about Bruce Campbell is even when he's in interviews, he's still absolutely hilarious, and it's just like sometimes you're still watching, you know, Ashy Slashy. It's hilarious. Really, really funny. I mean, if you think about it, going back to the Evil Dead, that was way back in, the green screen, retro days. And I want to bring something up, guys, because I'm sure you've all noticed this. In the Evil Dead, where they keep showing it quite a few times in amongst the movie, where they show the men. But you can't half tell that it's not them actually the men, guys. And I'm not like saying anything bad or anything, but I'm just saying I actually like it. I actually think it's funny, and it's, you just go, I still appreciate it though for what it was. I love the colours of the men, but how like even when I do movie my YouTube videos, I actually use iMovie, and at the corner of my screen I bring up like a little box, and it could be, say, a picture of someone I'm talking about, an actor, or it could just be me reacting to something. Well, it was, the cabin and everything, the forest, and then you just seen this square coming right across with the men. But like watching it now, you're just like, oh my gosh. And now even more so, I'm looking at it and going like, yeah, that just looks like when I edit on my iMovie. But anyway, you gotta appreciate it for what it was. Like, let's face it, they kept running out of money. Like Bruce Campbell even has said, we kept literally running out of money. We didn't even think it was going to even get finished. We couldn't believe we even finished it. And he didn't even care, if it went really, well at the cinema, in the sense of, well, obviously he cared, but what I'm trying to say is he didn't care whether it made it to like a top movie or anything like that, because they were just so glad and happy that they actually were able to finally get the money to get it finished, and that it was just finished and done, and it was like, it actually took them 2 years to do it. So I think that's really, really cool. I really love a lot of scenes from the Evil Dead. I really love the scene with Ash's girlfriend when he's sort of like getting ready to dig up a hole to bury her with a spade, and she's already a zombie at this stage, obviously, and she's like opening her eyes, and her eyes look really cool, her zombie eyes, and it's hilarious, like so sneaky. She's like looking every now and again, and then as soon as he keeps turning around, she's like closes her eyes, and then he's digging the hole, and then she does it again, and then she turns, and then she just pretends like she's not looking at him. And I think that is absolutely freaking hilarious, that scene. I really love that scene. And then it's what I love about this movie is it's really crazy random slapstick, and it's cheesy humor, sort of like ends up like a cheesy comedy within the slapstick horror sort of realm, or whatever you call it. I'm just gonna go with the flow of what I said there. The crazy slapstick cheesy horror realm. What did I even say? Anyways, I'm gonna move on, Julie, shut up. When he ends up getting the spade and whacking his girlfriend's head off, I absolutely love the way they shot her head falling like right in front of the camera, because it literally did feel like it sort of like dropped right in front of me, if that kind of makes sense, and I really love that. And then of course, she's headless, obviously, because he chopped her head off, and then the blood's like, she lands on top of him, and the blood's just like literally flying all over his face. And then I'm gonna just put this like this. She tries to get her, her freak on with Ash. And I just think that's just so out there, so random, so crazy, and just, it's mad. I really love, visually is one of my, I wouldn't say favourite scene, but one of the visuals that I really appreciated, that I really did like a lot, was, when in the basement, Ash was down in the basement, it was all dark and everything. I really like that sort of like a dark tone, and there is a lot of dark tones in these movies of Sam's, and that's what I really love as well. And great settings. And I love, the scene with like the light bulb on the wall, and it starts filling with blood and everything, and then the pipes and everything, break out with like blood and everything. I think that was really well done, but maybe might not be everybody's favourite, but personally for me, to be honest, you might be shocked by this, you might not be shocked by this, but at the end of the day, it's my all-time favourite scene from this movie, The Evil Dead. Do you know the scene where Bruce Campbell, or Ash, or whatever you want to call him, Ashy Slashy, is at the mirror, and he's, you know, sort of looking at himself in the mirror, and then he puts his hand in, and he's like going like this, and then it changes to water. I just think that is so class looking. I absolutely love that scene. It's really cool. Now, something that I wanted to talk about that's really interesting is, do you know the scene, and this is actually probably my second all-time favourite scene, it's my second all-time favourite scene from the movie, with the book and the fire and the necklace. You know the necklace that he gave his girlfriend at the start of the movie, and it looked so like cheap, and it was off a magnifying glass, and she was like, oh Ash, I love it, but you know, really, let's face it, it kind of looked like something you'd take out of a Christmas cracker, like, let's be honest. And Bruce Campbell even actually said, you know, I couldn't believe when they said to me, like, this is the necklace you're going to be given, you know, the actress of your girlfriend. I was like, no, we can't use that for this movie. It looks really cheap. We can't be using that. And they were like, look, just go with it. We bought it in a shop down the road or wherever it was. You're gonna be using it. That it's happening. Let's just roll with this kind of thing. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But what I love is when the zombies in that scene, they all just start decaying. But it's like what they used there was stop motion, and I highly appreciate how that scene was shot, and I actually think it was terrifically shot and very smartly shot. And for the time that they done it in, I thought it was absolutely spectacular. And the way they done it, and the way it was shot, not many movies can actually make me do this. Definitely Silent Hill, because that is the freakiest film that I have ever watched in my whole entire days. It scared the heck out of me. I loved it, but oh my days, it's freaky as hell. That movie gave me the shivers. But there's not really any other movies that actually gets me, like, that would make me shiver, you know, in my spine or whatever. But that scene, even though I've seen it a million times, it still makes me shiver. So they definitely done it really well. That's what I'm pretty much trying to say. But when they're decaying, you know, that stop motion that they're using, and that's not easy. That takes a heck of a lot of time, hard work and dedication, and a long process to do. So you know what, hats off. What I wanted to talk about that was actually very interesting is Bruce Campbell was explaining that, you know, the necklace was talking about that he gave his girlfriend at the beginning of the movie. The original plan was, an idea they had was they were going to use the necklace and, you know, the light from the fire or whatever, something like that, to burn the book, okay? But then something happened and it just didn't end up working. Maybe they just watched it back and visually it just didn't work, or it wasn't what they were going for, kind of deal. So they ended up not doing that. That idea was pretty much scrapped. And the music that was composed by Joe LaDuca is just absolutely fantastic. And I think it's actually really funny how it was all kind of put together, because, you know, the group often, they were all like friends and they were still in college, and like they wanted to make this movie, and they kept on like trying to convince you know, their parents to keep giving them money to fund this movie, because they really did believe in it. And you know, fair play to them. Like, look at how well the franchise has done now. We've even had the series Ash vs Evil Dead. People are still talking about it. I'm still talking about it right now. We're all going to be talking about it in the comments. So fair play. But then they had asked and reached out to Joseph and asked him, you know, could you do some, you know, like scary music and compose for this movie? And he did. And I actually have a short clip that's really interesting of Joseph talking about just Evil Dead in general with the music and everything. So I'm just going to quickly show you that, and then we'll get back on to talking about everything.
Many years ago.
Yeah.
Plusieurs années. We were all in college, and I met Sam, Remy, Bruce Campbell, and Robert Tappert.
Wow.
They had a little office next to a magic shop.
Yes.
And they had convinced their parents' friends
Yes.
to contribute 10,000 here, 10,000 there, so they could produce Evil Dead. They also taught the Coen brothers that way to raise money for Blood Simple. And I met them, and they asked if I could make some scary sounds, and I said yes, of course. And I thought these were just the fun nerds I've ever met.
Yes.
And they threw great parties, and I said I'm in. and I didn't realize I would find my life's work by saying yes to this.
Something that I really love is the car, the famous yellow car. And that was actually transported over for the series Ash vs. Evil Dead. And they say it's actually still the original one that they use for the series. So I think that's really cool. I think that's awesome that they still use, you know, the same, that they still use the same car. And just overall, you know, I love the stop motion, as I was saying, and I like the practical effects. I have to say, I just really appreciate when people do use practical effects, and also don't, you know, take shortcuts and just really just go to the effort of just having fun. And although they didn't have a lot of money and they kept running out of a budget, you know, they still kept on carrying on. And, you know, that's inspiring in the sense that, you know, they thought they weren't even going to reach their end goal, and they did. So if anything, that's inspiring in itself, that if you keep on working hard and you keep on, you have a dream or you have a goal or you have a passion, never ever give up. So I don't know, maybe that's a bit corny, but I just think it's very inspiring anyway myself. Now we're going to move on now to Evil Dead 2, otherwise we'll be here all evening. But I love how the movie, it just, you know, it just gets straight into it, you know. There's the straight away, him and his girlfriend, you know, of course, go to the cabin in the woods. And I love the fact that they used the same, you know, cheap ass necklace that they used in the Evil Dead, you know. I love that. But I also love that we actually got to visually really sort of see the broken bridge, and I really like the style and how they done that. I love how they incorporated the bridge into the movie. I really like that. And of course, overall, as I was saying earlier, the visuals are obviously way better. And you know what, guys? They fixed them in. They fixed the moon. And at the beginning, they had it sort of like, you know, the whole screen, and it was the moon, and it was just all like bright orange tone. But let's face it, way better than what we had in the Evil Dead. So that's great, and great practical effects again, and again great motion, stop motion. Sorry guys, I lost my train of thought. They're great stop motion as well, and also they use sort of like clay in this one as well. So like for his girlfriend, for example, what they done was they brought her in and they done her all up in clay and everything, and they, you know, did different models and everything of her. And I really love the scene where it was her corpse basically, and it was made out of clay, and her head kind of looked almost like a Barbie doll. I'm not sure if they kind of at times maybe used like some sort of like a Barbie head or something, I don't know, but that's kind of what it looked like to me from a distance maybe. But the rest was like clay basically, and of course, you know, stop motion with the clay. And you know, I loved how she was sort of like dancing around outside, and you know, Bruce was sort of looking at her out the window while the piano was playing as well. I thought that was really cool. And I love the part especially, and I think this was so well shot. And I'll explain how they actually done this, because on my DVD it actually has, which I actually have behind me going, because I just think the intro was so cool, so I thought I would use it for this video. It's very Halloweeny. Around Halloween sometimes I just have it sitting there in the background. So anyways, so I'm weird. I also do that with my Ghost Whisperer DVDs as well sometimes, and just have it like sitting in the background. But anyways, there's a scene with his girlfriend's head, right? And he's just sitting there on like a chair. I think it's like a wooden rocking chair, isn't it? And her head like comes down and just lands like sort of in between his two legs. And she goes, "Hello, lover." And it's like, oh my gosh, that line. It's so funny. It's so cheesy, but it 100% worked with that shot. And I love how that shot was done and how they actually done that, because it tells you in the behind the scenes on my DVD that I have watched a billion times. And what they basically done was they were both sort of like sitting down on the ground, and then they had her head, like, don't mean to sound funny, but like in between his legs. And then what they sort of done was they had people kind of there to say, oh, you can kind of see this part of her a bit, or you can kind of see that bit, hide it. And then I think they had like something covering her as well, so that you couldn't really see the rest of her. And then they sort of obviously used, you know, what do you call it, like you know, like obviously the professional makeup artists came in and done their magic, yada yada, sprinkled their magic with, you know, her neck and everything, because you could see obviously like the blood and the all the whatever way she had her neck all done up. So that was definitely a favourite scene, one of my favourite scenes in this film. absolutely fantastic. I remember when I first seen that scene when I was younger, it really scared the heck out of me. But as I kind of got older, I remember like just sort of being like, wow, that is class. That is so cool the way that's done. And you know what's funny? Bruce actually did all his own stunts for this. And, you know, all the crew were, you know, sort of saying that Bruce is one of the only people that can act in reverse. And what they sort of mean by that is, you know, when obviously, you know, he's trying to, you know, sort of like get away from the evil, and he's trying to sort of like move around and everything. And there was a scene of him where he's sort of moving around, and it sort of looks as though he is actually rewinding back on what he's doing, you know, like, ooh, and like, you know, obviously I can't do it, but anyways, I'm not going to try and rewind or whatever, but that's pretty much what they were trying to explain. And when you actually like see him in behind the scenes and actually you're just like, oh my gosh, wow, like he is so talented. And like he actually says that, like, you know, he didn't think he was a good actor or anything, and he literally couldn't act when he did The Evil Dead, but then he still couldn't act in the movies, but then now he's a better actor in the series. But I actually disagree. I thought he was very talented, very charismatic, in such a funny, cheesy, mad, crazy way. And I think he's fantastic. I think he should kind of give himself a bit more credit there, to be perfectly honest. He has fans all over the world, so I think he should definitely be giving himself a bit more credit there. That's just my opinion. What do you all think? And of course, my favourite Mara scene from The Evil Dead was changed from water to obviously the other version of himself coming out, which of course we got to see in the series, and of course in Army of Darkness as well. And obviously in this one. And you can let me know what you think of Army of Darkness as well, because, you know, the end of this movie is absolutely brilliant. And then it shows Ash, sorry, got a really sore throat there, guys. We saw Ash, and we also saw his yellow car. You know, obviously, you know, he went into the past, and then that's it taking us into Army of Darkness, which is a video for another day, guys, because we are at like over 20 minutes now. I might edit it and like chop some things out. But yeah, I mean, these are two great slapstick cult movies. You know, really cheesy, awesome movies. And I have so much respect for these movies. I really do. And as I say, I much prefer Evil Dead 2. Army of Darkness is something I would love to do for Retro Friday. Perhaps maybe next Friday or the Friday after. But let's see how this one goes, guys. You can let me know if you enjoyed this tonight, and you can let me know if you would like me to do maybe Army of Darkness for next Friday for my Retro Friday video. Thank you so much for all the support, all your kindness, all your love, all your awesomeness. Yous are all amazing. I don't know what else to say, guys. From the bottom of my heart, all the way from Ireland, I'm going to go to bed, but thank you so much for coming along tonight and watching my video. And I will see you all in the next one. So, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget that the Force will be with you always.